Hey, my name is Sarah, and today I've got some lazy stretching for you. It's going to be mainly seated and down to the ground, so let's get started. We'll start in a seated position. So come to your sit bones and then just bring your left heel in towards your midline, and then your right heel to follow right in front. Root through your sit bones here, and then we're going to begin to walk our fingertips forward. And maybe this is as far as you go without your butt kind of coming off the mat here, and that's okay. So you can be here. If you want to come a little deeper, we can bring forearms down. Maybe even your head comes down. Or you can stack your arms here, make a little pillow. So you should feel a nice stretch happening in your hips here. And we'll take a few breaths here. We're going to switch out sides. So begin to walk your fingers back. Just bring your right heel in towards your midline, left heel to follow. One side's going to always feel a little bit less comfy than the other. For me, this is that side, so I naturally kind of want to lift up my hip and my sit bones, but we're going to try to stay rooted down as you walk your fingertips forward. And if you can't go as deep, that's okay. We're just evening out that stretch in our hips. And try to relax your shoulders here. If the stretch is feeling a little bit too deep, maybe you come out of it. Paying attention to what's happening to your breath, to the muscles in your face. Just try and let it all be kind of loose and relaxed. Let's take one more breath. And from here, we're going to make our way to all fours. So if you can transition from here, you can do it however you want. If you want to try this, we're going to flip our legs around, and then you can adjust yourself on the mat. Okay, so hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We'll do some spinal flexion and extension. So drop your belly to a cow pose. Exhale to a cat. Now, keeping your toes tucked, we're going to transition back to a child's pose. So shift your weight back, relax your head, and then we're going to flow through that a few times. So coming back up to your cow pose, stretching your abs, opening up through your chest. Exhale to your cat, round, chin towards your sternum, and then go ahead, sit your hips back to your child's pose. Now go ahead, do that twice more in your own time. And then come on up back to your all fours, and we're going to walk the hands back towards your knees, coming to the balls of your feet. So coming up to the balls of your feet, we're finding some stretch through the fascia of your feet, through your calves, and we're just going to rock back and forth here. Let's find a little stretch. You can feel it around your ankles as well. And then from here, let's begin to walk the hands out. We're coming to cobra pose. So lowering down to your belly, anchor through your shins, through your quads, drag your palms in line with your chest, and then go ahead, lift on up here. Now, if your cobra pose is nice and low, maybe you're right here. Using a little bit of your back muscles, not just your wrists and palms, to lift up. And then be mindful with what's happening in the back of your neck. So we don't want to crunch too much, right? We want to keep the spine nice and long here. So you can tuck your chin a little bit. Continuing to stretch through your abs, through your back, broadening through your collarbone. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, you're going to lift your hips, come back to all fours. And then puppy posture. Walk your palms forward. Lower your chest towards the mat. So we want to keep our hips over our knees. And then you just surrender your heart and upper body down to the mat. Now, if it's too intense, we don't need to lower all the way down, or maybe you can have a pillow or something here to rest your upper body on. But otherwise, just go ahead, release into this stretch. Then you should feel a good release in your shoulders, in your chest, in your heart. It's a heart opening pose here underneath your armpits. Take 3 more breaths in your own time. Making our way back to all fours, drag your palms back underneath your shoulders, pigeon pose. So we'll draw the right knee behind your right wrist, extend long through your left leg. And we can pull our heel as close towards our midline as we need. Or you can work to have your shin a little bit more parallel to the short edge of your mat. Keep your hips forward. And then when you're ready, we melt into this posture. Sending some breath to your right glute. And there's no right or wrong with the upper body. Maybe we're on our palms, on our forearms. Maybe you rest your head down, making a little pillow with your arms or hands. And I always like to give a modification for pigeon. If this doesn't feel good in your body, we can either take it to a figure 4, or we can take this on your back right here. Let's take a few more breaths here. And then using your hands to lift your chest, roll onto your right hip, and then open up towards the long edge of your mat. So now we've got our right heel in towards your midline. We're rooting through our sit bones, left leg is extended, and you can keep your knee nice and bent or soft here. And we're just gonna take it to a side body stretch. So reaching up, right fingertips towards the sky to start. Maybe your left forearm comes to the mat. If not, we can stay nice and high here, working to get a little bit deeper in time. And if you'd like to bring that arm a little bit further towards your leg, you can bring it up and over. Just being careful you're not collapsing here into your shoulder and chest. So try not to cave in, stay nice and bright through your upper body. I like to just keep my arms straight up because I tend to start collapsing inward when I do the side body stretch. So unless you're actively pushing that shoulder back, just go ahead and keep your arm up. It's all good. And just breathe, feeling a nice stretch through your side waist. And we'll come on out of that. Bring your palms behind you, fingertips to the ground, bend into your knees. Take a few windshield wipers here. So mobilizing through our hips. I don't think you could see Morty off camera, but he's sitting over there. Come here, Morty. And we're gonna take this to pigeon pose on the other side. So go ahead, bend into your left knee. We're coming to the opposite end of your mat, and then right leg extends long behind you. So coming back to that pigeon pose, adjusting however you need, maybe pulling that heel in closer, releasing your shoulders back, down your back, and then relax down into your pigeon. Again, remember you've got those modifications to take it to figure 4 or reclined on your back. And throughout these postures, you can feel free to kind of rock in and out of them, find a little bit of movement. I always find that helps me when I'm feeling kind of stiff or needing some stretch, some movement. I like to make the stretches a little bit more dynamic. Let's take a few more breaths here. Just relax into it. Go ahead and come on up when you're ready, using your hands. Rolling onto your left hip now, we open up to the long edge of your mat once again. Left heel is in towards your midline, right leg's extended long. Keep your knees soft. And keeping your chest lifted, we plant that right palm or your forearm and then lift up and over. And you can shift your gaze wherever is comfortable on your neck. If you're feeling any strain here in your traps or upper body, then maybe you just lift a little bit higher, relax your shoulder down, or just change the direction of where your gaze is. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And we'll lift up through center. And we're gonna come to a wide-legged straddle. We'll bring both legs out now. So just as wide as is comfortable in your body. If we're not there yet, legs come a little bit closer. No worries. And we're gonna make this into a little bit of a dynamic movement. So bringing our fingertips down to the ground, we're just gonna take some circles. So lower your chest, take it over to the other side, and then we just reverse the circle. So beginning to feel some stretch in your hamstrings, but not coming too deep into it and holding just yet. Release your low back here. Okay, let's take 1 more to each side. Beautiful. Now we'll come through center and relax into the pose. Again, maybe forearms, palms. Maybe you've got the blocks here to help lift yourself up, a pillow or a blanket or something. But you don't need any props. Just come down however much you like here. Beginning to bring that stretch into your groin, inner thighs. Allow your spine to be passive. And with that being said, Morty, we're going to begin to roll it up. So use your hands to help you come up. Let's bring the hands underneath your knees to help you bend into your knees and come to a seated posture. And we'll finish up with some neck circles. So just release your shoulders down and then really gently begin to draw some circles with your nose. We'll take a few in one direction. Take about 5 circles in one direction and then we'll reverse it. Reversing if you haven't already. And coming back through center, lift your gaze, and we'll close it out here. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you're feeling, I hope you're feeling a little bit more limber. I will see you soon. Namaste.